Meryl Streep and Amy Adams play food lovers who are separated by 4 decades and the Atlantic Ocean in Julie and Julia. Vaughn on Movies, brought to you by Your Ad Could Be Here. Keep that in mind. Hello and welcome to Vaughn on Movies. I'm VaughnFry, your host, naturally, and I'm taking a look at Julie and Julia. Our story follows 2 plots. In the 1950s, Meryl Streep is Julia Child, and she has arrived in Paris, France. To avoid boredom, her husband Stanley Tucci tries to encourage her to take up a hobby. Julia decides that she wants to study French cuisine. She takes up classes at the Cordon Bleu, where she is the only woman, and studies against adversity. Meanwhile, in 2002, Julie, played by Amy Adams, has arrived in New York City. She too is a little bored. She used to be a writer but never finished her novel, and now is sitting behind a cubicle. Much like Julia, her husband encourages her to take up a hobby, so she turns to blogging, only this way she's blogging about Julia Child's recipes. Her plan is to do all of her recipes within a year. I welcome the idea of a definite timeline, so that we have an idea of when this movie will end. It's not a traditional biopic. I was originally concerned that the split narrative would cause a problem. I had the assumption that the Julia Child Meryl Streep side would be the strong point of the movie and only make the Amy Adams Julie side look inferior. Fortunately, both of them have plenty of clever things to do around the house. I was a little taken back by Julie's obsession with Julia Child. Every minute she's saying Julia Child. Her husband must be going insane. The screenplay addresses this, but ultimately she never really learns her lesson. Lastly, there is a resolution between the 2 women at the end of the movie, which caught me by surprise and seemed unprovoked. Meryl Streep delivers a respectable performance. I like the way she conveys a childlike curiosity and wonder for the world while being loud and somehow not obnoxious. She does break character every once in a while. Check out the way she says tangy or divorce. That's Meryl Streep's typical voice. Visually, Julie and Julia doesn't have a whole lot to offer. Cinematography and editing are both very basic for a Hollywood production. There are no notable effects, save for a slightly muted color palette used during the retro scenes. If ever there was a case of role reversal, it's here. The men have put their women to a hobby because they needed something to do, and ultimately, the women become the true breadwinners of the household. The consequence is that men become subordinates in this movie. So guys, it doesn't look very good for us. Overall, this is what you would call a cute or delightful film. Not particularly funny, not a whole lot of drama, but for the most part it kept a smile on my face. I give Julie and Julia 3 out of 4 stars, and I recommend going to see it. This has been Vaughn on Movies. I'll see you guys later. Meryl Streep and Amy Adams play food lovers who are torn. Meryl Streep and Amy Adams play food lovers who are separated. Meryl Streep and Amy Adams play food lovers who are separated by 4 decades in the Pacific Ocean.